Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, guys, I'm going to be a little bit distracted today simply because I am also live on an additional platform. Oh, Lord, what is happening? I'm live on an additional platform, which is YouTube. No, Instagram. Let's get started. So I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is your glow up is here. Your glow up. So there's good things happening for you. Things are working in your favor. You're doing what you need to do. You're keeping your nose to the grindstone. And that's really all you can do, really just making sure that you're doing everything that you possibly can, right? Let's get some cards. I keep switching between super hot and super cold. It's gonna be okay. All right, let's see what happens. All right, here goes, guys. Here goes. I'm told to pull from this deck as well. How's everyone doing? All right. Here goes. First card. Ooh, okay. There's something that's being cleared from you right now. There's a cleansing that's happening, and whatever's being cleared probably has to do with some of the insecurities that have led to struggles for you over the last, I hear, several years. Over the last several years, you've been struggling with something, maybe your perception of yourself. It might be just about how you have not been able to see yourself in the appropriate light, in a space of clarity. And I get it. For many of us, we're not able to see ourselves very well, but lately you're becoming much more honest with yourself about the gravity of you. So that's very powerful. It's giving you the opportunity to receive the confirmations that you are seeking about your worth, your effect, what you deserve to receive. Just keep going with that. Keep going with that and allow yourself to really get to a space where where you're feeling much more comfortable with just loving the fact that you are amazing. Intensification in reverse. Whatever these struggles have been for you, these struggles where, you kind of don't like yourself. You kind of feel like, oh, I always mess up. I always do this or that wrong. You've been working through it. Because you've been working through it and you continue to apply yourself, what ends up happening is you get past it. Whatever you put the effort into, that's what you're going to be able to cultivate. That is the skill, that is the opportunity. Like, really beautiful things are headed your way. Prosperity. Everything that you've been working so hard for, whether it's self-healing, work opportunity, whatever it is, whatever you've been working so hard for, you're about to receive it. Keep going. You have to always keep going. So, homecoming in reverse. There was something that you were really counting on. I'm sorry. There was something that you were really counting on, and it's okay. It's going to be a little bit disappointing. This thing, it's not, you're not going to have it because it's not in alignment with what you actually need. So it's not going to come home to you. Instead, something even better or something more aligned is going to be presented to you. You have to be careful about allowing this new cycle where new abundance, new opportunities, just some really, really good stuff. You have to be careful that you don't suddenly shift this new cycle all the way back into that old cycle of stagnation, um, kind of like self rejection, self abnegation, right? You're not going to be able to stop this. You might be able to delay it if you do your self-sabotage thing with the cycles, but at the end of the day, what's for you is coming home to you. It's not necessarily what you want, it's not necessarily what you asked for, but it's absolutely best case scenario for you. I just feel that so strongly. Best case scenario is exactly what you're going to receive. Until then, you have to make sure you enforce your boundaries. You have to make sure that when people or circumstance try and challenge your peace, try and disturb your peace, that you assert yourself to the appropriate degree. And that typically means, some things will need to be addressed, other things will need a full on confrontation, and most things you simply need to acknowledge and then continue walking away from. Okay. Part of the glow up is being able to use your energy for your glow up, not to revert back to, again, these old patterns of, allowing people to suck you into drama, allowing people to um, dictate your day by way of triggering, right? You don't need that. You really don't need that. Personal issue reaches a resolution. Uh-oh. Hold on. And I think this is another person. I don't think this is you. A personal issue reaches a resolution, but it's in reverse. So there's someone who has an issue. It ain't you. And that's all you need to know. Right? It is not you. And that is all you need to know. There is a person who apparently has an issue with me. He's joined the line. Get in line. Get in line. There are many people who have issues with me. I don't know how many because I don't care. I don't have issues. And it's not, I don't struggle through my growth, my learning, my cycles. It's that your issue is yours. If my existence triggers you, don't come around me. It's very simple, right? If I'm triggered by someone, I don't go around them. I don't start demanding they don't exist or that they tiptoe around me. My glow up is coming because my energy and my focus is on the glow up. And that's how you're going to ensure that you're one of the ones that actually go through the glow up. Surrender to the divine. Again, it's in reverse. This need to control your external environment, this need to control every aspect of your journey, it is not healthy. That's the very thing that's going to sabotage your process. What you need to do is really submit to your own soul. Allow your soul to decide how things are supposed to play out. Allow your soul to be the one to take the lead, right? Because your soul knows where this lesson, where this cycle is headed. Your soul has advanced knowledge of how this glow up is supposed to unfold. You better do it soon. You better let soul lead you soon because the energy is gaining momentum. Things are about to get crunk. It's going to get crunked. Prosperity lies ahead. The momentum is gaining, so you're going to enter into a prosperous state. Don't stop that. Don't block that. Don't get in the way. Don't stop that. Don't block that. Don't get in the way. Tell yourself that. When you find yourself experiencing some degree of fear about a process that you're in, it's just a process. Don't stop that. Don't block that. Don't get in the way. Don't stop that. Don't block that. Don't get in the way. Okay. Be bold and make the first move. You have to be bold. You have to allow yourself to travel beyond your fear, beyond the confines, the boundaries that your fear keeps you in. You already know what it's like being in that space. You're afraid of being in a new space. 92% at 1129, inverted mirrors, 921129, 111111, 33. You're being given instruction as to how to master this cycle. You're being given the instruction as to how to master this cycle. Today's the first full moon of 2024. Is that why people are acting funkadocious? Not everyone. Not everyone, just a select few. Just a select few. They're taking their job as Demon Horita a little too serious. You know what I'm saying? They're taking it a little too serious. All right. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service, Selflessness, Humility, Conscious Action. I think the concept of selflessness, I think that needs to be reevaluated. Selflessness is it's not about losing yourself, right? It's not about being devoid of your sense of self. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I just got irritated. I just got irritated. And I think it's important that people be able, when I feel comfortable with it, that people are able to witness me in my process. For me to acknowledge out loud the process that I'm in, again, when I feel comfortable doing so. I think today is full of, and I think honestly it started yesterday. It's full of opportunities to become triggered. And it's in that triggering that we are able to begin really recognizing the parts of us that we still need to sit with a little longer, or maybe even go into a deep process of further modifying, right? Um, there's no such thing as having reached um, the point of mastery. When you reach a point of mastery in your human existence, you will no longer exist as a human. The whole point of being a human, having a human existence, is to go through the process of relearning yourself from a limited perspective, right? So why would the goal be mastery? It's not. The goal is about presence, present perspective, allowing your perspective to be further refined as you are present in whatever circumstance you're in. Part of your glow up has to do with you recognizing what your process is. I'm recognizing today is a day where I am being triggered by so many different things. And these are things that are under my control. How is it under your control, Emmy, if someone's triggering you? Well, I cannot control a person, but I can control the effects the person's behavior has on me. So it's under my control. I control myself, right? For those who are on YouTube with me often, you guys know that when I'm offering things, that's the time to ask for those things. When I'm doing a reading, that's a time for me to do a general reading for the collective whole. When I'm not offering things, you don't start asking for what you want, because within me exist triggers that were created by a period of my life where I continued to give like a bottomless pit to people who are also bottomless pits of consumption. You can tell I'm triggered, can't you? So now it's this thing of, is a person triggering me, or am I being triggered by the return of my memory of past events that I allowed? Part of the glow up here is recognizing I'm not there anymore. I exist in a different space. I exist in a space where I know how that ended up. I got myself out of that situation, and now I own myself, my life, my journey. There's nothing in my past I need to be ashamed of. And there's nothing in my present that I need to be ashamed of either. It's a very beautiful thing when you can have boundaries and not be ashamed that you have boundaries. When you can communicate what process you're in. When you can have the courage, not a lack of fear, but a courage, a level of courage where you're not afraid to experience vulnerability in the face of complete strangers, right? There's something powerful that happens. And that type of shift, I would say, it increases the potentiality of you becoming a formidable and unstoppable force, where you can just really keep going forward. Just keep going forward, right? So, for people who are new to me, who are not aware, when I'm doing readings like this today, when you see that all signs label at the bottom of the screen, that is me doing a collective reading. That is me speaking to the collective whole. What resonates with you is for you. What doesn't resonate with you probably is not for you. That is not a time for you to begin asking me for scans, for personal cards, asking me personal questions, trying to get me to focus my attention on you. That is not the time. That is not the time. And it does trigger me. It triggers me because I give so much of my time for certain things. And when the task that I am currently focused on is being interrupted, that triggers me. Right. And let me explain a little further. I had a 6.5 hour long straight session yesterday, very intense. I was exhausted, and I still chose, this is my choice. I still chose to go on TikTok to do scans for people. I was intending to be on TikTok for 30, 40 minutes, no more than an hour. I was live on TikTok for 4 something hours, I think 4.5 hours after a 6.5 hour session. I worked for nearly 11 hours straight. And then I woke up early this morning and I went straight back to work. I went on TikTok and I was there for an hour and a half, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how long I was on there. Quickly ate my breakfast and came on to do this reading. And now I'm being asked for more scans. No, no. And that's me simply communicating and explaining where the triggering is coming from. This is me remembering those days when I wouldn't say no. I would do all of that and so much more, and I wouldn't say no. This is not me angry at someone. This is me reliving my anger at myself, right? And now this is me reminding myself, you're not that person anymore. You don't have to be angry with yourself. You have to allow yourself to acknowledge how you feel about what you used to do to yourself and recognize you don't do that anymore. For whatever reason, I was drawn to be live for as long as I was last night. That's okay. That was my choice. That was my choice. I take responsibility for that. And part of the glow up really has to do with you recognizing how far you've come. How far you've come, right? This moon energy is really being used to dig out all the old stuff. Um, Last night after I finished the live stream, mind you, at that point, I'm like, I'm feeling exhausted and grumpy. And someone I don't even know who this is. They created a whole ass video to address me and try and start shit with me. And it's like, I've known so many people like you. I've known so many people like you. You live your life on social media, and the way you live your life on social media is to garner attention, right? Because the more eyes on you, the more people who follow you, uh, that's the more you feel you're validated. Your existence is valid because you have X amount of followers. And then you take a look at me and you think I'm whatever you think I am. And you recognize something. I'm a threat to your existence. For whatever reason, I'm a threat to your existence. I'm a threat to you and this little empire you think you've built on social media. I know plenty of people like you. I do. These people who start shit with others to build their audience. You will not use me to build your audience. As a matter of fact, that was a fatal flaw in judgment, because now that you've tagged me and did all that stuff in your little video, first, I'm not going to respond to that. I'm not going to make a response video or comment. No. What's going to happen is people are going to be curious. Who are you talking about? Because you tagged me, they're going to go to me. You don't hold a candle to me, honey. You just introduced your audience to someone who can shine a light so bright that your bullshit is now exposed without me even responding. Thank you for promoting me in ways you didn't understand. I won't allow myself to overcompensate for what I didn't do the last time. I was sharing earlier when I was live on TikTok, the last time someone did that, not only did I not respond, and I was existing in a space of smallness for whatever reason, that caused my reach to jump to over 500,000 people. Over 500,000. And that was me still playing very small and being a doormat, choosing to be a doormat. Now I'm over here speaking openly, and people are witnessing the gravity of how much I know and how much I've withheld information you cannot easily access or find in books. Thank you for your contribution to my glow up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Make more videos. Entice the other toxic people. Spread my name around, because that's what I want. Do your part. Glow me up. Do it. Do it. Talk shit about me and tell people where to find me. Do it. This is me allowing the adversity that people try and push onto me to serve as the fuel for my glow up. I'm not going to dirty my hands with anything. Your glow up works the same. My fuel is for me to use. Your fuel is for you to use. When people give you fuel, you can use it so that you can go even further than what you thought you could go. Or, or you can use it to burn down this little village. You're going to be out in the cold after that, though. You won't have any fuel left to go anywhere else. The power of your glow up is about using your energy intentionally, allowing your energy to serve as the fuel, allowing the glow you emit to better light your way as you move through your life. Who cares what other people think? Who cares what other people do? Whatever's happened in the past, that is to teach you. It is not to remind you and then cause you to overcompensate for something that was deficient before. It's not. It is not. I've had these thoughts over the years of like, I had all these people who really were like super supportive. And if I had just given them permission to be like, without saying it out loud, you know what I mean? Just be like, that's fine, not say anything. Because what I was doing was telling people, like, no, don't fight with other people on account of me. I can handle myself, which is the truth. I can handle myself. And there was a period where I thought, I should have just let people like defend me. I shouldn't have stopped them. And so faced with this circumstance, there was maybe a minute or two where I'm like, you know what? We should form a regulator crew to take down these accounts that are just nothing but bullies. They just bully people. But how does that make me different from what was done to me if I did that? Because those people, they believe their opinions of me were the truth. For those who don't know my history, I've been a recipient of some pretty intense, concentrated cyberbullying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was the difference? Oh, I think I'm right this time. No, it doesn't matter. We grow through adversity. We grow through adversity. I would not have had the revelations that I've had, these aha moments that have taken me higher and higher and higher in my view of myself and my purpose, had I not gone through the things that I went through. And no, the people who participated in the attempt to destroy me without zero provocation, no, they don't get credit for the ways in which I grew myself. I did that. I chose to heal. I chose to stay in my space of integrity. No one is going to force you into a space of healing. You have to choose that. Life will present you adversity and struggles that will give you the opportunity to cultivate the parts of you that need to be strengthened. Those are the parts being triggered by the adversity, by the struggle. You let yourself show up for you. Boo. Do you understand? We've been talking about the next part of your life for weeks now. This is the first day of the next part. This is the first day of the next part. Set the intention. Calibrate that energy. Shine a light on the things you want to celebrate. Allow yourself to become aware of how influential your intentions and your energy is over yourself and your life. Allow it. Allow yourself, because when you allow it, beautiful things happen for you. You begin to gain confidence in your ability to manifest the events, the connections, the circumstance that will get you to feel more happy living in your life, more satisfied, more more like you, right? More like you. We've become so accustomed to playing a role that we kind of forget who we are. We kind of forget what we feel like. We kind of forget what we actually want out of life. This is a period where you're being asked to remember, because what you actually want is what you're going to actually get. Okay. Hitting the mark, intention, detachment. You have to detach from what the final outcome will be. Just be present, knowing that you have things already set, intentions have already been set, and your soul is going to make good on its promise. As long as your intention and your effort is aligned with what you need, there's no reason that soul is going to deny you what you need. Okay. The phoenix, resurrection, surrender to change. Are you going to use your fuel to rise? Or are you going to waste your fuel burning down a village only to have the last of your fuel be used to resurrect you from the ash? I mean, you can either surrender to change or you can allow the change to destroy you. Those are options. Those are definitely options. If you choose the destruction, just know that you're going to only be destroying the parts of you that are resisting the process you're in. You're not going to actually be fully destroyed. It's not soul's mission to destroy you in that way. The spiral dancer, circuitous route, perception. You have to recalibrate how you think and see yourself. You have to recalibrate that. You need to make sure that you understand what it is you're doing. Now, the path of soul is similar to a Fibonacci sequence, except it's in reverse. It's in reverse. A Fibonacci sequence takes you through a pathway that phase locks you. It prevents you from reaching higher degrees of dimensional awareness, the expansion of your awareness. When you do the Christic spiral, it overcomes that blockage and allows you to move forward, meeting even greater expressions of your most authentic self, encouraging you to become even more comfortable with who you are. And the most powerful part of that process is coming to the realization that you've always been this version of you that you've been trying to become. Like you've always been that. You've just always been that. It's just you haven't seen it because guess what? You've been busy playing all of these different characters that people make you feel like you have to play in order to be acceptable to them. No, I'm not willing to play a character. I'm not an actress. I'm not willing to play a character. And if you're not willing to play a character, what happens? You don't play the character. Well, what if people are disappointed? Well, they need to learn about how they can deal with their big feelings. They can drink a juice box, have a snack, and take a nap. That's what they could do. That's not your problem. Are you their parent? Were they birthed from you? No? I've told people in the past, have you traversed my vaginal canal? No? Okay, you're not my issue. Wrong woman. You can't call me mom. I'm not your mom. You're speaking to, addressing the wrong female. Go seek out your mother. You are not for me to raise. We need to conserve our energy and use it for our glow up. That's what we need to use it for. I mean, you're obviously free to utilize your energy in whatever way you choose, of course. It's always the final decision is yours, right? It's up to you what you want to choose. But For many of us, we don't know that. For many of us, we don't realize the level of the role we play in the life that we manifest, right? I love your casual sarcasm. It's not too dry. Would you like some olives with that dry drink? Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I do have a very dry sarcasm. Sisters of the seasons, cycles of growth, natural law, divine order. You're in a cycle of growth. You are absolutely in a cycle of growth, and it is something so beautiful. But because you are in it, you don't have the opportunity to be fully aware until you're out of it, until after the process is done. And you look back and you see with clarity, 2020 vision, what it is you just experienced and the ways in which it's grown you. Life is so beautiful in that way. Everything is meant as a gift, a surprise. Um, Gifts are often surprises, right? You don't go to the store with someone to pick out your gift. They usually pick it out for you and they give it to you as a surprise, which, that's lovely. And that's kind of how life works. You don't get to pick out the gift. You just kind of give a general sense of what you'd like, and then your soul picks for you. Everything has a nice little surprise to it, right? The spirit whisperer, divine guidance, higher knowing. All right, guys, we're in an intense cycle. We're in an intense collective cycle. Up until now, the reading has been trying to give you clarity on your personal life. You want that divine guidance? You want that higher knowing? The collective has just entered into a trauma induced accretion cycle. Trauma induced accretion is a term that I a term that I coined, and it talks about how traumatic events, traumatic experiences are used to trigger a energetic fight or flight response, which causes full dilation of energetic pathways and makes it possible for you to access gifts that you thought you didn't have access to. Okay. So that is the divine guidance. There's going to be a lot of things triggering you. How you deal with those triggers, you're in full control of. That includes you choosing to allow yourself to lose control and not regain it. That's a choice. Because the moment you realize you've lost control and your response, your reaction was not appropriate for the task at hand, for the event, the circumstance, whatever you just experienced, you need to pull yourself back in. You need to get back in control of your emotions. If you're like, well, I'm already here, I already did it. Okay, that's a choice. If you're like, I want to see how far I can take it, I already said what I said, that's a choice. Okay. And you are going to be the one who will forever have to live with that choice. I would love for all of us to choose the healthiest thing possible for us. That would be amazing. Card number 19, dream a beautiful dream. It's in reverse. The process that we're in is causing everything to kind of turn upside down. Now, as things turn upside down, some people might get disoriented. You might lose sight of the fact that this is merely a process to introduce you to your period of glow up. Breathe. You got to just breathe through it. You got to let yourself get to a space where you're like, okay, um, I'm frustrated. I'm hungry. I'm tired, or whatever it is you're feeling, right? Just acknowledging what you're feeling. And then choosing to direct your emotions and your energies, your thoughts intentionally. When was the last time you intentionally directed your thoughts? Intentionally directed your emotions? For those who are watching earlier, when I was talking about being triggered today, what you witnessed was me intentionally directing my thoughts, my emotions, and that moment of being triggered. Everything can be beneficial to your journey. It depends on how you direct it, right? Someone asked me for free work. I'm not offering that, triggered me. How did I direct it? I spoke openly about it, not bashing the person, but openly about the process that I've been through over the years and why I got triggered. Had nothing to do with the person. It's about reminding me the process that I'm in, and then using that as a launching board for me to dive deeper into my understanding of myself. Glow up, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, maybe you just need a little song like that. Just, you know, acknowledging that these little flare ups are nothing but your light shining brighter. The part about a glow up that people don't realize is um, sometimes people get uncomfortable seeing the way you glow. Glow anyways. Glow anyways. Conscious connections. Stay in environments where people are consciously connected to you, right? This is not an encouragement to exist in an elitist mindset. No, I'm talking about recognizing when you are in an environment that's causing you to enter into a space of existence where you feel you have to apologize for existing because people don't understand you, people cannot accept you, people are now actively trying to shame you. No, no, there is no connection there. There is simply a draining. There is simply an exploitation of any type of insecurities that could be found. No, that's not healthy. What you need to do is enter into environments that can be supportive and also environments that can challenge you to exit out of your comfort zone. Sometimes that involves some mild adversity. Sometimes it involves that. It's okay. You're going to be okay. We don't always have to have a perfect, peaceful life with zero conflict. Like, no, it's those moments of conflict, disagreement that opens us to the potential of seeing things from a different perspective, thus further expanding our awareness of ourselves, our current limitations, the degree to which we can expand those limits and allow more of our recognition of our power, our purpose, our truth to be witnessed first and foremost by us. By us. You're not here to impress other people. You're not. You're not here to impress other people. And if people are not already impressed by what they see from you, maybe they don't have the capacity to understand the gravity of you. So, um, there was a circumstance where someone had seen me talking on a video about some of the work that I was doing. And I think what happened was they were being disruptive. I think it was a live stream and they were being disruptive. And one of the mods banned them. And then so they're pissed off. And what they're talking about is, what do you call it? They're like, I don't need all these fancy certifications to do energy work. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Oh, that's cute. I don't have any certifications. I don't. Their response is because the little intro that I have that explains what I am, the work that I do, um, they didn't understand the verbiage. They got triggered. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was using my official titles. I am a founder and professor of aura spectra bioregenesis. Well, I don't have, oh, just because you have a fancy certificate. I don't have a certificate for that. What are you talking about? Because I'm a highly advanced medical intuitive? I don't have a certificate for that. I audit college classes, but I don't pay for the certificate. I don't have any certificates. Yeah. Your insecurity is your own. It has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. As a matter of fact, when people have asked me in that on that platform, what does all of that mean? Like, what do you do? I just do weird stuff. I do weird energy stuff. It helps people. It helps people. You see, you have to know how your glow up, the ways in which you can acknowledge the gravity of you by simply stating it, by affixing the appropriate labels. It offends the insecure people. Is that your problem? Do you need to apologize to the insecure people? For what? For existing? Right? And even if I had all of these degrees, I've earned those degrees. Should I be shamed if I had multiple degrees? Why would I need to be shamed? I invested my time, my energy, my effort into earning a degree, and I'm needing to shame myself? No. Your glow up is about releasing yourself from the preconceived expectations of others. There are people in this world that exist that are so accustomed to others coddling their fears, their insecurities. And when you, my dear badass, come onto the scene and you're just being you, not understanding how bright you shine, those insecure people are going to be offended by the fact you exist. You tell them to call 1-800 Jesus, don't give a fuck. You tell them to call that line. Because why? Well, because Jesus didn't care about the insecurities of others. Jesus was about helping, not coddling people's unreasonable fears. You don't have to apologize to exist anymore. You don't have to play small anymore. And this is the cycle that I'm in, that I am claiming, that I'm refusing to exit out of. That's right, Lindsay. Thank you, my dear. For anyone who needs the number, you enabler. I love it. Keep encouraging me to misbehave. Keep encourage. No, don't encourage me to misbehave. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your glow up is about you coming home to yourself as a totality, as a whole being. You take a look at my journey, okay? For my entire life, to varying degrees of secrecy, I have hid the degree of medical intuitive skill I have. I hid my degree of medical intuitive capabilities. Why? It's literally just like, what has it even been a week that I am now sharing openly what services you can book with me. I've had many people ask me over the years, and I've kept those unanswered. Why? Thousands of people could have been helped, but instead I chose to hide. How did that honor my purpose? How did that honor the people who had a need? It didn't. All it did was keep us all stuck just so that I could what? Make people who are uncomfortable with their existence more comfortable in their discomfort. And they still didn't like me, pinche cabrons. They still didn't like me. They still didn't like me. So what did it do? How did it help? It didn't. It didn't. At least now that I'm fully embracing a period of glow up where I'm allowing myself to share more of my capability, I don't have the extreme pressure to tiptoe around toxic people's feelings. Like, you know what? I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And if your feelings are being hurt because I exist, I kindly ask you to look in another direction because I'm not going to turn my light out just to make you more comfortable with being afraid in the dark. I'm good. And I hope you guys really hear what soul is actually trying to tell you right now, using me and my life as an example. I hope you understand exactly how you're being directed by your soul right now. There is a reason you found me. There's a reason that you're here. I don't know what that reason is, but I do know people cross my path when they need their message from soul, and they don't get this message because they're asking me. They stumble across me and then they realize, like, oh, damn, is she talking to me? I'm just talking. I'm alone in a room talking to a green light on my laptop. I'm serious. I'm alone in my room talking to a green light on my laptop. I don't know who's watching. And that's why I'm comfortable speaking, because I'm literally all by myself in a room talking to a little green light on my laptop. Everything is going to be fine. Not only are you going to see that it's going to be fine, you're going to live it. You're going to experience it. You're going to get to a point where it's like, all right, I don't know why I was even worried. What was I so worried about? I don't know. Because you be tripping sometimes. Because you be tripping sometimes. That's why you were worried. I mean, I'd be doing that too. That's what I know. I do that too. I do that a lot. Well, not a lot, just enough, right? um, oh, your empathic mermaid says, I don't ever watch anyone's lives, but something made me join. There's something I need to hear. I hope whatever you need to hear reaches you today. I feel beautiful energy from you. I saw when you entered the live stream. There's something about your energy. I don't know if we know each other, but there was something about your energy that definitely pulled me in. So I hope whatever you need to hear finds its way to your ears and is received in the most gentle and compassionate way possible. Yeah, a lot of us are in this process, right? It's going to be okay. You're going to question yourself. You need to question, not doubt, but question. It's in the questioning of the process of the self, of whatever it is you're questioning, that you're actively opening yourself to receive the answers that you need, but are afraid to ask for, right? So, card number one, after the storm. So, whatever yucky stuff is going to pass, is going to pass. We don't like storms, but they serve such a good purpose. What is that purpose? Well, they take away the stink from the land. Sometimes places be stinky, and storms help to cleanse the land, right? It helps to nourish seeds that have been planted. So, what if it's something along the lines of soul has planted seeds of potentiality, and you've been so depleted? Because most people who share space with me um, are similar to me in that you tend to overgive. You tend to be extra patient. You're highly empathic, highly sensitive to people's emotions. You know what it's like to have been um, in a difficult circumstance with no one to help you. So you know what that's like, and you don't want someone else to feel that way. And we're all very similar in that way. And it's like this thing of let the seeds grow. You're depleted. Let soul bring a storm to kind of just, dampen the soil, give the seeds a chance to take root. Before you know it, you'll realize that all of these storms that life has sent your way, that was the irrigation system of soul. And every time it stormed, it replenished your soil. It watered all of those seeds. And at some point down the line, you'll look around you and you'll realize this entire time, oof, mm, this entire time, soul was focused on growing you an orchard so you'd never be hungry again. Mm. Ooh, realizations, profound, profound realizations. Orchards are not created all at the same time. There are sections of the orchard that are cultivated first, and that's planted, and then the trees are allowed to mature, and maybe several years of being able to harvest the fruit before they'll expand their operations. They'll go ahead and create more sections of the orchard that will have younger trees, and they'll start the process all over while the mature trees are still producing fruit. And they'll continue to do this until they use up all the land that they have. And then next thing you know, you're surrounded by nothing but mature trees. And usually that's because you don't have all the tools, all the supplies, all the equipment to handle such a large operation when you first begin. Like, really apply what I'm saying as an analogy to your journey. So I've switched from different platforms. I went from Facebook, and that was like the mature trees, and storms came, and I was like, all right, time to go to another part of the orchard because I have an avoidant type personality at times. And then I switched over to YouTube, and that orchard is doing beautifully. And I'm still tending to the Facebook orchard a little bit. Um, yeah, and now I'm being instructed um, to expand the orchard yet again and hop yet again on another platform. And that's because more storms. Hmm. And now I'm realizing all of this was carefully orchestrated, carefully choreographed by soul. I didn't have it in me to focus on all of these platforms at one time. And so I was given the opportunity to focus on one at a time, establish each one with my full focus before moving on to the next. Here, I thought I've just been wasting my entire time just hopping around and, like, what am I actually doing with my life? I was doing what I was destined to do the whole time. The whole time, not realizing it. Because even your coping mechanisms are carefully selected by soul before you enter into this form. Because it's your coping mechanisms that will cause you to select the options that carry the greatest degree of viability for your potential to fully ripen and produce fruit from your labor. Look at all the things you've been through. Look at all of the things that you have been through, the ways in which you thought you failed. Was that a failure? Or was it just that portion of the project is now complete and your focus is being turned to the next part, the next project? I don't believe in failure. I believe that I do things until I need to do other things. And when I do other things, I believe I do it until it's time to do other things. And you're probably like, well, Emmy, don't you need a to-do list? Who said I didn't have one? But if you just keep jumping around to different things, what? I'll never get anything done? Or is it my specific way of getting everything done at the same time? I don't know. All I know is I'm at a point in my journey where I completely trust my soul. I'm ready for the glow up. I'm going to get some bronzer. I'm going to get some bronzer. I'm going to get some self tanner. I'm just going to look extra sun kissed and glowy. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I feel like it. Ew, why not? I've never had self tanner before, so I want to see what it looks like. Plus, it'll give me an opportunity to kind of get acclimated to what I'm going to need to do when I finally do decide to compete. So, yeah. And that's yet another part of my orchard that's being expanded, cultivated, and prepared to give me a bounty when it's ready. Right? And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a richness of experience in life. I'm talking about knowing that I achieved something that I never really thought I could. It's about that internal checklist. It exists. I just never pull it out. I don't want to see how much more I need to do. I simply have a checklist so I can remind myself during the times where I've forgotten what I've accomplished, how much I've already done. You see, when you constantly are just looking at life in terms of how much more, how much longer, you're viewing life from a space of depletion, scarcity, lacking mindset. When I view what I've done, because most of us don't want to look at our past. When I view what I've done, I'm like, oh, well, damn, I did a lot, huh? Oh, well, that's nice. I thought I didn't get anything done. No, I get a lot of things done, but I never give myself the proper credit, much like most of you. You get a lot of things done, but because you're so focused on how much more, you completely forget to give yourself the proper acknowledgement for how much you already have. Part of the glow up is needing to recognize how much you have, how much you've done, how skilled you've become in your life. Everything I've said to you is the truth. A truth that's hard to hear because guess what? You become so conditioned to hearing nothing but criticism about yourself that you don't really know how to receive the truth of how much you're doing, how much you've done, and how high the potential is for you to reach higher degrees of accomplishment. Some people might say, oh my God, that's so Capricorn moon. And I would say, yeah, it can also be for you too, though. You don't have to be a Capricorn. You can have some standards for yourself and achieve things for yourself. And, maybe it's time for you to recognize you're not afraid of failure. What you're actually afraid of is success. Because once you succeed and people see it, well, you can't pretend to be normal or average anymore. You can't go back to that comfortably cramped space of playing small, a space that wasn't made for you to begin with. Get out of that box. Get out of the box. I'm going to pull 3 cards. I want you to pick the card you're drawn to, #1, #2, or #3. You can pick all 3 if you want. This is going to be like a mini reading for you. We're going to start with #1. Okay. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's see what your soul wants to tell you. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. #1. Ooh. Ooh. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Okay, no, I'm joking around. Card number 42. Card number 42, South Node, Life's Debts. So if you chose #1, this is the card for you. Okay. Karma, when properly understood, is just the mechanics through which consciousness manifests. The South Node represents a karmic point in our charts where certain matters must be discharged or cast off in order to develop and move on towards greater things. Okay. The South Node is realistic and is the area of the horoscope that shows how we can know and understand who we truly are. And this is what's needing to happen. You're needing to know and understand who you truly are. The South Node represents karmic debts, which can make life circumstances hard, but neither the North Node nor the South Node are all good or bad luck. In fact, when it comes to the nodes, what will be given is what has been earned. You've done your due diligence. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you acknowledge how much effort you've put into your existence or not, you have done the work. It is time to begin applying that work, okay? That knowledge. There's no other way of getting there without the toil and effort. The South Node is also a key to what has been left unfinished or unresolved in your life. So you've allowed yourself, those who chose #1, you've allowed yourself to become distracted with all sorts of different things. That's okay. I realized the other day I don't have a squirrel brain, I have a hamster rave. It's okay if you get distracted, as long as your distraction always causes you to circle back around to finish off the work that needs to be finished. What lies therein is what we bring from not only our childhoods, but also past lives. When this card turns up in a reading, it's a turning point. See what I'm saying? It's a turning point. Things are about to improve. It's a time of endings and beginnings. I don't know who needs to hear this, but one of y'all need to let go of that toxic person that you are trying to make it work with. Honey, they're not interested in things working with you. They're not interested in supporting you. They're not interested in helping you heal past your previous traumas and limitations. They're interested in the novelty of dominating you. Unless that's your fetish or something, it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time, just so you know. I don't know who I'm talking to, but someone needed to hear that. Understand that there's something about to close that's been held in place for a long time. You've been in a state of limbo. Familiar ways will end, ushering you forward in new ways and through different developments. You are ready to step out of the rut and align yourself with a higher vision. I think a lot of what's happening is for people who chose #1, um, you've been afraid to enter into a new space where you don't know the details. If you've been miserable in your life thus far, I would take the new space. Worst case scenario, you'll still be miserable. Realistically, it'll give you the opportunity to meet other aspects of yourself and live life in a different way, in a way that you could choose to be much more fulfilling, much more peaceful. You may be evaluating certain aspects of your life to realize there's no longer any connection there and it's time to move on. See what I said? You need to let go of that person, whoever that is. I don't know if it's a friend or something romantic, but there's someone wasting your time. They're not going to let you go easily either. They're going to give you all of these excuses and cry to you and where. Eh. I would just be like, here, have some tissue. I gotta go. You don't do that with me. Right? And no, I'm not heartless. I just know when someone's faking it. I think I should have clarified that. They're crocodile tears. Whoever I'm talking to, this is a person who has no problem crying crocodile tears. You will want to leave your comfort zone and make as many new contacts as you possibly can. Even though the South Node is not as congenial as a North Node, they are still in balance. Having things in common. So when you face resistance at a particular time, that is your South Node telling you over here, there's a better way. So whatever struggle you've been in, your higher self has absolutely been trying so hard to get you past that. It's been trying to give you directions. It's been trying to flag you down. I don't know. I think sometimes when people see red flags in people, they think it's like a carnival, right? They think it's like a happy place where you have fun and you just fool around and make amazing memories and stuff. No, honey. The flag that you should be paying attention to is that white flag that your soul is waving, telling you to give up on that. Surrender to soul, give up on that. You'll want to leave your comfort zone and make as many new contacts as possible. Even though the South Node is not as congenial as the North Node, they're still in balance, having things in common. So when you face resistance at a particular time, that's your South Node telling you over here, there's a better way. The South Node is all about being prepared for what comes next, and that means being experienced. There's no winging it at this time, or your plans may truly sink. That's why you should trust soul. Not my soul, your soul. Your soul knows exactly what it's doing. Sometimes when the South Node is activated, it will take several tries to get what you're after. You could receive an unexpected rejection, one you weren't looking for. You could even be asked to do extra tasks while working longer hours. The good news is, even though things moment, it is still an advantageous time. You're about to hook up with people in your soul tribe. You're setting down a foundation for your future marvelous life. So there's a lot of resonance that's trying to be pushed towards you so that you could finally um feel the, I guess, I don't know, companionship, like platonic companionship, so that you don't feel like the odd duck out, you don't feel like the black sheep, like just kind of giving you what you need to feel more comfortable with who you are and what you're here to do and learn. So card number 18, Virgo, I analyze. Oops, it's upside down. For those who chose #2, this is your card. Okay. Okay. Virgo, I analyze. Do not anticipate trouble or worry about what may never happen. Keep in the sunlight. Okay. Don't be a worrywart. This whole thing is calling you out. This whole thing is calling you out. It's like, um, you're a true worrywart. Much of your worry focuses on health, possible disasters, and sudden changes, which you dread. You would much prefer to return to simpler times, which that's understandable, but I mean, you can't go backwards. You can try, but that's not living in the present. Okay. So you shy away from chaos and detest array. It isn't unusual for you to keep books and musical collections in alphabetical order. That typically tells me, because I have that issue, that typically tells me you have an internal problem with your power. You don't feel powerful in your life. And so that typically will get projected out into your external environment so that you could witness um, your power in some way. That's a very stressful existence. Hi, Annie. Um, you also tend to suppress what you're feeling, which can bring on stress related illness. If this card presents itself during a reading, look to concerns about health, lifestyle, and your job. If you're expecting things to go normally or as planned, they will not likely be the case. Oh, um, for those who chose number two, there is a potentiality that your life is going to be, how would I put this? Unexpected things are on the horizon. So you need to begin preparing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket because there are unexpected things that are just, I don't know. I think let me just read. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. Um okay. This card signifies a good time to get rid of your clutter. Living a cleaner life, focusing on details and doing what needs to be done are now your focus. I'll put it in this way. For those who chose number two, you've been very concerned because you see a situation brewing in your life and you're fixated, you're fixated, you're fixated. And it's like you're hoping for the best. Logically, intellectually, you're hoping for the best. Emotionally, which is a much more potent fuel than logic, you're feeling and expecting the worst. Which of the two are going to come true? Which of the two do you think? Someone who's using like 85 fuel or someone who's using full on jet fuel? Emotions are highly combustible. It's a highly combustible form of hydroplasmic gas, hydroplasma, right? So either you're going to need to prepare, it's like stop playing with your mind and prepare for the worst, or the more powerful option, sit with the emotions, soothe the emotions, get yourself centered, process, digest, and purge those emotions. Then you can return back to a state of logic, intellect, and have a reasonable um, expectation of that to come true, right? But if you're not going to be able to differentiate between the intellectual fuel, logical fuel, and the emotional, emotional will always trump logic. Emotional fuel will always trump logic, right? So this is not about you needing to prepare for the worst. This is about you recognizing how basically this is a roundabout way of saying you are a master manifester. Don't manifest problems for yourself. Instead, focus on the details and the actions that are necessary for the best case scenario, knowing that there can be complications, setbacks, mild disappointments, but you're going to get through this. You're in control. And at the end, with enough effort and recalibration on your end, you will reach the goal that you've set for yourself. But you're not going to do it from the place that you're sitting at right now. And that means the emotional place, the mental place, the limited type of existence place. You're not going to reach it from that place. You're going to need to do the different things that you need to do, the shifting of emotions, the acknowledging, like acknowledge when you're afraid, like, I'm scared I might mess up here. But also at the same time, I've done this type of project before. I did mess up there, but I knew what I did wrong. So maybe I could make sure to triple check that I don't repeat that same mistake. And then it should be a different outcome. It only took me one time of building a hot diggity dang mouse tool ass Kia IKEA. It got me so I built an IKEA shelf and I wasn't paying fully attention. First, I have dyslexia. I also have ADHD. Okay, well, that's going to be fun. There's no words, there's no labels. I'm looking at the picture and it's like, all right, dyslexia, I'm able to do some very bomb ass spatial reasoning, right? I can visually render something in my head and spin it around 360 degrees. I got this. Except I wasn't paying attention because I was rushing. So I was about 3/4 of the way done of like a 500 part shelf adventure, only to realize, like, why are things not lining up? Why does the shelf look crooked? What is this? And then I realized, oh, dang it, one of the panels was turned the wrong way. So what did I need to do? It was like step number 2. And I was maybe on like step 30. I had to disassemble the whole thing. I had to take the whole thing apart and redo it. I finished it. I was frustrated. I was irritated by the time I was done, but I finished it. So when it came time to build another shelf years later, you best believe I triple checked before I hammered any little peg into any. Have I ever made that mistake again? Nope. Hell no. Hell no. Uh-uh. Because I learned. Apply that to your life. You've done whatever this is, that's your task at hand. You've done this before. Maybe different characters, maybe different details, different time in your life, but you've already done this. What happened then? What was the hiccup? What was the complication? How did you fix it? What were the signs that a complication was planted and developing? Those are the things you need to look for in the situation you're in right now. You need to be aware of those signs so that you don't repeat the same mistake. You're going to be perfectly fine. You're going to be perfectly fine. And for those who are not familiar with me, I don't just say things to be nice. I don't. If you're not going to be perfectly fine, I will tell you. If you are at risk of messing up your whole life, I will straight up tell you without blinking, you're fucking up. And anyone who knows me knows I will absolutely tell you that. And then I'll be like, but it's okay because look, you're finding out in advance and it's not too late. It's true. It's not yet done. It's not too late. Fix it. Stop fucking up. Right? I don't feel like you guys are messing up. I feel like you think you're messing up. I feel like you're too deep in your head about the complexities of something. And it's not even a complex thing. And that's not a symptom of you being crazy. The highly intelligent people, I'm not talking about people who think they're smart. I'm talking about people who are actually ridiculously intelligent, the neurodivergence of the world. We do this weird thing where if the answer is too simple, we think it's wrong and we will overcomplicate it because there's no way the answer is that simple. I know you do this. Yeah. That's how you mess yourself up. That's how you mess yourself up. Mhm. Yeah. You gotta see where it is that you don't believe in yourself. Um, this card suggests you need to be more reliable in your approach. Problems won't go away. You must work and they must be addressed. You see what I'm saying? You have to address the issue. um, Being at one with nature, noticing the important details, being fully present in your work, drawing upon the wisdom of the critical mind, as well as attention to health and diet, are all subjects associated with this card. So you're going to be okay because now you're seeing exactly what you need to work on. It's an inside job, you guys. It's an inside job. All right. Final card. If you chose hashtag number 3, this is for you. This is for you. All right. What did you guys write? Okay. It is card number 30. Here goes. Sixth house, routine. The body is a sacred garment. You must change your usual way of looking at things. I think I'm noticing a theme here, and the theme really has to do with needing to shift out of this stuck place that you've been living in, right? This house reminds us what we should do to maintain good health, and in this, diet figures in. So they're talking about actual diet. I think also we need to take in this layer of messaging of the words, the concepts, the teachings that you take in. That's a part of your spiritual diet. And you need to be mindful of taking in inflammatory things. I will say this, and people get real mad at me for saying this. I don't care. That's the face I make when I'm challenging you to shut me up. I don't care. People can be mad all they want, but a lot of the things that are taught and spread in spiritual environments are highly inflammatory to your sense of self. Highly inflammatory to your internal peace. Mm-mm. I'm getting all riled up. Don't make me fight people on your behalf. Okay, let's see. This sixth house is all about duty, responsibility, and gainful employment. Duty, responsibility. I think for many people who are new to their spiritual journey, you feel a sense of duty to listen to people who appear to know more than you. They've just been Googling things longer than you have. That's it. They don't know more than you. They don't know you. They don't know your life, what you have been through, what you have overcome, what was placed before you to destroy you only to fail at that task because you still exist. They don't know you. They don't know what you need. They don't know your dreams. They don't know what your purpose is. They don't know you. Stop listening to them. Listen to yourself. I'm not even asking you to listen to me. I don't know you either. I might know you more than them, but I don't fully know you. You know yourself. You know your history. You are the only person alive that has been present for every single thing you have experienced since the time you were in the form of a zygote. Yeah, you're the only one. Yet you want to trust other people. Well, what about specialists, Emmy? They specialize in their field of specialty. They don't specialize in you. They don't. Well, doctors, yeah, doctors are freelance consultants. They're consulting with you, using their field of expertise to properly advise you on your different options for your health. You know, when one of my kids, because my kids were injured by glyphosate, right? We lived in an area where they were doing aerial spraying. It severely affected my kids. And at one point, when this child was a toddler, one of my children specifically, he was the most injured by glyphosate. His lymph nodes were swollen to the size of grapes. Like, imagine a toddler with a lymph node this size in his groins, the back of his head, his armpits, right? Lumps this size. You see how big this is? Yeah. So I was doing all my reading. I'm a very, I was stay-at-home mom at that time, just strictly stay-at-home mom. And my husband took care of the financial stuff. I took care of all the family domestic stuff. And I made everything from scratch. I knew my children inside and out. We homeschool. I baby wear, like all of that stuff. I intimately know my children. I brought my son to the pediatrician to ask her to order a liver panel test. That's all I wanted. I would like to see his liver function because I was working on a diagnosis for him. My diagnosis was celiac disease. Yes, an autoimmune condition, celiac disease. I wanted to see his blood work to confirm my diagnosis. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I have no degrees. I have no certificates. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I take him in. I ask for that. The doctor, the pediatrician, does a physical exam, and they were much more comfortable believing my child had cancer. They diagnosed my child with cancer off a physical exam because of the lymph nodes. And they're like, we don't need a liver test. We don't need a liver test. And I was like, no, I want a liver test. I want his liver function tested. And she was insisting I go to oncology. He's not lethargic. He has no bruising. There are no telltale signs of leukemia. I'm not a fucking idiot. I might not be a doctor, but I'm not a fucking idiot. There's no bruises on his body, right? And so she makes a deal with me. She says, if I go to the oncology appointment that she's booking right then and there, she will order a liver panel test to just quiet me. I said, sure, I'll go to oncologist if you order that liver panel test. We get to oncologist. The oncologist asks me what's going on before they even check my child. And I tell them the presentation of symptoms. I tell them my hypothesis for a diagnosis, possible diagnosis. And the doctor is like, oh, how did you come to that hypothesis? What led you to that diagnostic assumption? And I said, well, these are the symptoms. I spoke about the stool, the smell of the stool, the look of the stool, the symptomatic presentation, the bloat in the belly, the bile coming out of his skin, itching, constant. I spoke about indigestion. I spoke about all kind of different things. A type of lack of self-regulation, leading me to think he might have some brain fog. The doctor's like, "Wow, that's a pretty extensive list." What did the pediatrician say? As like that he has leukemia. The oncologist looked at me like I said, I mean, we're here. We might as well rule it out. His lymph nodes are swollen. So that's very common for someone who's developed celiac disease and it's gone undiagnosed. And so the doctor checks my child and is like, "Oh, these are still within normal." And I said, "Are they? They look pretty big to me." And they're like, "If your kid has leukemia, it'd be much bigger than that. Much bigger than that. No, this looks within normal." And I'm looking at all the other symptoms. Because I told him I don't believe he has leukemia. He has no bruises. He has no fatigue. None of that. And you know what that doctor said? "You really should consider medical school because we need talented doctors like you." And I was like, "Oh no, I've focused on my kids. Like I don't want to be a doctor. I just want to be a good mom." And then the doctor said, "What are you looking for in the blood test results?" And I said I was looking for extremely elevated liver panel, liver enzymes, extremely elevated, like 1,000, 2,000 above normal level. He looked up the results. Apparently, it was already in the system. He goes, "You got a diagnosis there, mom. Exactly as you called it." And I was like, "Whoo!" There were no indications for anything cancerous, no elevations in um, eosinophils or no infectious indications. But the IgG and IgA, those were highly elevated. I have no degree. I have no education, but I'm a mom. Hmm. Yeah. I've known him since before the world did. I felt his heart beating before any doctor. There's no expert that will be more sensitive to his needs than me. His body was grown from mine. And I am present. I pay attention. Stop listening to these people who are not present, who don't pay attention to you. Listen to your heart. That is where your soul speaks to you in a language that is felt, not heard. Something important is about to happen in your life, and your soul does not want you to miss this opportunity. If you're going to listen to your fear, you're going to miss the very thing that you need the most. Because whatever this is, it's serving as a bridge to get you to the other side, to the next part of your journey. It's time to pay attention to the small particulars rather than the larger picture. The larger picture cannot develop without the minute details. You may find yourself worrying over little matters, which is exhausting. Visits to libraries and schools may somehow assist you in your plans. It's important to be analytical in your endeavors, or they may come unraveled and not turn out in the ideal way you want. You can't be all emotion. You can't be all logic, just like you can't be all light and no shadow. You have to be centered in your truth. You have to be centered in your awareness of what you're capable of doing. This is probably, wait, what? Perfection is not necessary to success. Completing what you start is more important. However, the sixth house card does suggest you insist on quality and usefulness. You may find yourself critical at this time, or others will seem to be critical of you. You may want to clear up or correct matters which may have come unhinged or are at least off track. Efficiency and doing the right thing at the right time will serve you in the coming days. And you will know what that is when you allow yourself to actually listen to your soul, you know? This is probably not an easy time because it's not meant to be. For something to really serve you in the best way possible with the outcome you're wanting, you'll have to go step by step and have patience. It's not likely to happen fast, but whatever you manage to accomplish will stick and serve you well in the future. This is about building the foundation. This is not about rushing to the end zone, beating someone so that you could say you did it first, you did it before them. This is about creating the foundation of the next part of your life. You do it right the first time. And if you do it right the first time, it will have the capacity for you to continue to expand indefinitely. No limits, no restrictions, no none of that. Allow yourself to step into your proper place as the only authority over yourself. There will be those who will be able to consult with you, right? They'll be able to give you some advice, some tidbit tips that will give you a better understanding of what you should do. And then there will be others who, you know, they'll be there to try and dictate and demand and dominate. And those people can gurgle your crystal ball sack. Uh-huh. I have my sweatshirt. I found my old sweatshirt. Look. It's made me feel sassy all morning until I got too hot. Gurgle my crystal balls. Gurgle my crystal ball sack. My husband's gonna come on the live and be like, "What are you talking about?" My balls, my crystal balls. All right, guys, I gotta get going. Whew. I think we're being presented with challenges to get us to a place where it's like, no, I need to take care of me. I need to do what makes me healthy, happy, and whole. The three H's. The three H's: happy, healthy, and whole. Oh, that's not an H. It's the hua. Y'all know what I'm saying. That's not three H's, girl. Hamster rave. It's a hamster rave. I gotta get going. If you don't already follow me, I'm Emmy Evolving across all social media. I do energy work. I do etheric medicine. I teach classes. I'm the resident dry ass sarcasm. Just dry, just puckered, so dry. I gotta go. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, and all that other stuff. I'm live streaming on multiple platforms right now. I think like 7 platforms right now. I don't know who's where, but follow me wherever you're at and look for me everywhere else. I'm Emmy Evolving across the board. You gonna have fun with me if you don't already know me. Love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.